So we're over here at the, what's the name of the museum again?
It's the Nautilus Submarine Museum in
Yeah.
Groton, Connecticut.
Yes. And this is a model they have of a Gato class sub, and this is what I remember from the USS Drum. It's got a very similar layout internally. You've got the forward torpedo room, which is where I think we started out in. Then you have the conning tower. I don't believe it had a deck gunner. If it did, it was removed. Got, I think, crew spaces. Got the control center for the ship. Control room. Crew spaces.
A model that was built in the 50s.
Oh, this was built in the 50s?
It looks like it.
Well, there's a build plaque right there.
My guess is the 1950s, but
I can't get it to show up without flash. It looks like there's a date. Yeah, but there's your crew bunks. Then you've got the two main engine rooms, which would have had the 4 diesel engines in each.
1960, I believe.
So this could have been a sub that was serving then, who knows. Then you've got the maneuvering room, and then you've got the aft torpedo room. Yes. Then you've got, look here, salvaging thing. I think this is a diving bell. Either that or a decompression chamber because it had valves inside.
It's a salvage and escape, so they would hook this onto the sub. And
yeah, so it's basically, it's a diving bell basically, right?
Not really. I mean, it has similarities, but
yeah,
quite different. I mean, look at the scale.
Oh yeah. Yeah, but they'd still have to have some kind of decompression chamber, I'm sure. But yeah.
So if the sub ever sank in shallow water, they would lower this down and do their best to connect it.
Yes. Look in the cases, they've got medals that were awarded to some of the submariners. Yes. You know, I'll give them points on the presentation as far as the museum layout goes. It's really nice. One thing I'm curious, and one of the main reasons I'm here though, is to see the Nautilus, the first nuclear-powered submarine. And it's one of the first to sail under, I think, the Arctic and the poles, if I'm not mistaken, the polar ice caps. And speaking of the Nautilus, there she is. With the rail line right in front of it, too. Go figure. And I can see myself right over there across in the reflection. How you doing? Ugh, I look ugly. God, I believe an early missile there, I think. So, yeah, I will continue this on the sub. Yeah, so here we have an anti-aircraft gun that would have been used on the subs, but they were also used on a lot of other warships during World War II. And you've got some binoculars here with a compass. Yeah, look here. This would have, I think, been I don't know, would that have been a gyro compass? Yes.
Let me just grab some footage of this.
Yes, and there is the Nautilus. Now, I'm having to point it this way because the submarine base is nearby, and well, they are not camera. They are very camera shy. I will just leave it like that. But the good side to that, though, is you've got a really nice picture of the river here. So 1, 2, 3. I can't. And unfortunately, I cannot show the base, so I'm having to point the camera to the left. Sorry, you guys. But that's classified. Anyway, here is U-571, the Nautilus. The first nuclear-powered sub, I believe, to have ever been built and or commissioned. And it's real notable bit of fame is that it sailed under the Antarctic ice caps and or the polar ice caps. I can't remember which, but you've got all the placards here regarding the submarine and information. So you've got a National Parks landmark, Society of Naval Architects and Marine Engineers, American Nuclear Society, which I believe NS Savannah is also a part of, and the State Ship of Connecticut. And this was given to the sub, I think, a year or two after it was retired. It was in service in the early 1950s and lasted in service into 1980. Placards are over here. Some other ones. Oh well, I thought they were the ship. But yeah. Step aboard. I'm gonna have to walk in reverse for obvious reasons, but you've got the streamlined hull similar to what was seen on the Clamagore. You've got the streamlined conning tower. Dive fins are gonna be on the sides of the sub, not the conning tower. For rather obvious reasons. So yeah, SSN 571. Let us step aboard, shall we? Got the anchors and dive planes there forward. We've got the forward torpedo room escape hatch right here. That's exactly what that is. We got the main deck here with other escape hatches and hatches to load various things. You've got the conning tower with all its controls. So it's going good. Here, I'm gonna end the recording here. Alright, so we just came down from these stairs and we are now in the submarine's forward torpedo room. You can see some, I guess, demilitarized torpedoes they have on board. We've got the, I think this is the loading hatch or the escape hatch. I could be wrong. But, yeah, you've got the skids. I think they would be, I don't know, would they have still used block and tackle because there's a pulley, so it makes me wonder. And you've got crew bunks right here. Pretty much right beside some more of the torpedo controls. Got all the pressure gauges for each of the tubes forward. You can see they're working on a valve apparently. Let's hope there's not an Oceanos incident. That would be bad. Oh, and it looks like we're going up. So it's a wraparound tour by the looks of things. Yeah. Got the John. Let's not fall back on my ass. That would be bad. Got a tiny, tiny shower. Look at this. The shower is just low. I'd have to crouch if I were in here. Wow. And that would be, I think this would be a saltwater shower. Unless they had a freshwater thing then. By the way, watch your step. There's a real low hanging bulkhead door in here. Another John. Right here. Got two actually. Complete with magazines. Somebody left their reading material. I believe this is a general quarters alarm, I think. Wood paneling, that's probably from the 70s and or 80s. Got a hatch going down below. Looking up, more equipment of various types. Got a surveillance camera. Hello, how you doing? Got the crew galley here. So this I think would be either the crew galley or the officer's galley, one of the two. You got a, oh, they've got a tape recorder, that's right. Cold War operations, they need to make sure nobody was spying. Emergency exit. So that's an actual hatch they can use. Right here we have, I think, yeah, officers' cabins. I love the mint green. You don't see that anymore, even on modern subs. Yes, stateroom number 4. Stateroom number 2.
Come over here. I want you to film this because this takes a two-person job. One filming, one not. Take a look at this.
Ah, yes.
That is how it locks down.
Well, of course. And on the Clamagore, The bulkhead doors have tiny portholes that are real thick towards the top of the door.
Take a look at this over here.
I believe
this is the charcoal filter motor.
So that would be that'd be the air scrubber.
Exactly.
That scrub carbon out of the air. Got another sink bay right here. I just noticed that. Oh, and look here. Here's the kitchen. You got to turn every step of the way, otherwise you'll miss things. Look at how small this kitchen is. You talk about claustrophobia, that's about it.
Excuse me?
Yeah, by all means. Got another hatch here. There's staterooms on the right and left right here, Jesse. Got the officer's galley, full set. That would be really nice. Or the ward room, excuse me. But they've got it decked out as a galley, so I'm not sure. More oxygen scrubbers, I believe. Ooh, look here. They have an Easter egg to Jules Verne.
One moment, I'm just going to grab all this.
Oh yeah, here it is, right here. 1890 edition of Jules Verne's work, 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea, was presented to C.D.R. William R. Anderson, October of 1957. That was the same year Sputnik was launched, by Admiral Henry Nome, I hope I said that right, Chief of Staff for the French Navy, during Nautilus's visit to Le Havre, France, following a successful voyage under the polar ice caps. Got an old spotlight in case the power fails. More crew bunks. Probably some sort of thing there. More crew bunks. A watertight door that's pretty much locked down, but you've got the whole mechanism here. Ah, here, when you get down here, you'll see what I'm talking about with the doors. More cabins right here. So these are the senior officers right here. I love that the sub on there is represented as like a whale jumping up, like a sperm whale. I just noticed that. Yeah, you've got the officers' cabins here, real decked out for what they could give. On their safes, I just realized there's safes in these too. Now here's what I remember from the Clamagor, this type of watertight door. You had the whole locking mechanism here, you'd lock the latches down. You'd grab these and you'd jump through them if you had to get somewhere very quickly, but right there you'd have a porthole. That's real thick glass. So if there was an emergency and say either one of these compartments were flooding and you closed this off, this would be the only way you could see into it before it flooded out. So, using this old school means, we are stepping into the next compartment. So we've got more escape hatches. We've got the ship's small arms locker, ship's office, that would lead aft to the reactor room and other areas which are now closed off for very obvious reasons. But you've got the command center right here on the bridge, where you'd have the periscopes going up to the conning tower. So moving around, heading aft, or as far aft as we can go on this sub, you've got all the various equipment here, which was about as advanced as you could get at the time this was built. And this was just after World War II. So, firing panel, 4 different colored alarms right here. Yellow is general alarm, used for fires and other casualties. Red is the collision in the event of flooding or collision. Green is diving, used for submerging. Pink is power plant casualty alarm. And you've got the voice tube to yell down to the engine room. It's like, more power! Reactor nearly goes into meltdown. That'd be bad. No, I'm just kidding. Your alarm panels. On the Clamagor, they have some of these to where they still worked and you could sound them off. You've got, I believe, the computers, the analog computers that helped with everything on the sub. I don't know what each one does, so hence why I said that. Torpedo firing key. Yeah, fire controls here. But these are all early computers, all analog. And you had to know what every single button and switch did, along with whatever, and you also had to know what every gauge would show too. Otherwise, you'd have a major problem. And if you're like 1,000 or so feet under the water, that'd be not so good. We've got the chart tables there. More communications equipment. There's the attack center, so we'd have to have audio tours for this, but you got the radar, so this is the navigation center, as seen there. High voltage, yeah, I bet. That's back to when you actually had to know common sense.
Oh wow, look at this.
Yeah.
You saw the collision alarms?
Yeah, I saw them. Yeah, on the Clamagore they have the same ones. They have the very same ones. Filmception again. Couldn't resist, mate. But yeah, look, there's the periscopes, and they have the old voice tube where you'd yell down to the engine room and be like, "More power!" Pretty sure the guys watching the cameras are going, "What the hell are those two kids doing?" Oh yeah, we've got the sonar room, and of course, this is as far aft as we can go. So, this would lead to, I guess, the reactor room and all the areas aft of the ship. So we have, I think, another galley of some kind. You have the comms room. You know, it would be nice if they could unbutton that so you could at least peek in, but I can understand if they don't want the reactor to be shown, then I can understand. But maybe one day they'll open it up. Of course, that'll probably be after they're able to deradiate it somehow. You've got the navigational sextants right here on the ship. Yeah, this was the sonar room, as I said earlier. Yes, what are you doing, sir? Get back to your post. I'm just kidding. Anyway. Yeah, this is ESM Bay. So I guess this would be radio communications, I think. I don't know, but this gives you an idea of just how claustrophobic all this stuff really was. And you had to be used to... You'd have to be used to being away from home for months to even a year or two on end. Because these subs now are able to stay out for well over 6 to 12 months at a time because they don't need to refuel. I'm sure this one could do the same thing. So, we are now in the control room. And again, this gives you an idea of just how much you'd have to know regarding what each... I mean, everything down here, you'd have to know how it worked, what it did, and what it was for. Because if you didn't, you could easily kill the entire crew in some form or another, which would not be good. Air manifold, a good example there. High pressure air manifolds. A few valves are missing. I believe that's a ballast tank thing there. There's just so much. Oh, and they have a common sense fan, basically an old school fan that basically doesn't have a way to protect your fingers if you decided to stick them in being an idiot. So, yeah. Oh, and yeah, they have a little bracket there, that's right. So if the sub pitches up, down, or to the side, you won't lose your drink. So, yeah, the depth is pretty much in the position it was probably left in, give or take. But yeah, you can see general announce and control panels. Oh, and you've got all the telephones here, battle telephones, all battle telephones there. Radio room, right there. You've got the cams, MK1, with a very, very tiny ship's door. Going through another bulkhead door, which is the exit, basically. You now enter into the crew's mess. So now I think we're going back towards the bow, so there's the battery well. This is one of the first ships I've seen that shows the batteries. You've got all the placards and awards and whatnot. But yeah, you've got the crew mess with the galley. Got a, believe that's a radio or film projector of some kind. It looks more like a, well, I don't know, it might be. You can see all the equipment they'd have, surgical equipment, extra oxygen supplies, filing, etc. Got more crew cabins here. Now, this is back before everybody had various heights, so yeah. But this gives you just how tiny these were. Like, I'm literally probably only wide enough to fit in here. Like, the width in between these bunks is pretty much my body's width as a whole. Right there. That's how much room there is. And you probably have guys who are far wider than me at the time working on this sub, so that gives you an idea of just how cramped it would really be. Nowadays, I think they're still fairly claustrophobic, but not by much. Got our chief quarters here. More gear and equipment. So this is the full galley here. Yeah, this is the whole galley for the crew. Basically similar to Clamacor, only a little bit bigger. And here is where the tour began. So that's pretty much it. So I will see you guys later. And also more crew bunks. They're everywhere on this boat. So yeah, see y'all.
Well, you go ahead and do that. That's my light sensor.
So they've got a command bridge here with both periscopes. In fact, I believe if you can do... Oh yeah, you can't see through it. Nah, all the lenses in the periscope make it hard to see. You'd have to see it with your eye.
I'll put mine... Oh, look at this. This is probably just a drawing of some kind. It looks like a Cunard
or SS America with the tilted back funnels, maybe.
possibly.
Oh, hello. Got all the equipment here. Let's see.
Oh, I can see all of them.
No, I'm just saying, normally you'd have a dial and these would move. I guess they have that disabled now, but all of these here would control all these dials here.
Is this an active shot?
Yeah, that's outside.
This is the camera.
Oh, Jesse, look. They've got a red button. I'm going to press it. World War III engages, all the missiles launched. No, I'm just kidding. Oh, hey. Oh, it looked almost like they had an old... I don't know what that... Got alarms. Yeah, there's another part of the museum that has similar equipment. They got a mock-up of a torpedo here, an early torpedo. MK3.
Doesn't really look like a mock-up.
Oh, well, yeah, probably an actual torpedo or something.
Good contact.
Yeah, contact pin. So we're now outside the museum and we have one of the first midget submarines built for the US Navy here. There's a little placard denoting information about it. USS X1, SSX1. So I'll get the placard with the information. So 1, 2, 3. And the sub is mostly intact. And since it's on land, they could easily move it and restore it. And then we have, I believe, another midget sub, probably a scale model. And they have what's left of an early research sub that was in service from 1969 until 2008. And we also have a wild Mr. Gillette in his natural habitat, doing what comes naturally, photographing everything. I couldn't resist. Did it say if this was a rebuild or like a replica?
No, I didn't see anything.
It might be a legitimate sub, because look in the front.
No, this is legitimate. Look.
Oh yeah. Well, oh, it's riveted.
Yes, and then re-welded.
Yes. So, yeah, and there's a size comparison from the Holland 1 to the current, I guess the current largest, to one of the larger submarines, and they've got a conning tower over there. And they've also got the missile tube silo door, along with a deck gun. They also have another submarine that looks something out of James Bond. That might actually be something of a prop, if I'm not mistaken. I don't know. So yeah, there's what's left of the research sub, little parts that were saved. So yeah, got the diameter for USS Holland and then USS Ohio. So that gives you an idea of just how big these things have gotten since then. I don't know what's happened to the Holland one. Maybe, I don't know. It's either on display or parts of it are on display. I don't know. Yeah, you've got the, uh-oh. Don't shoot, I'm innocent. Yeah, so here's what the top of a ballistic missile tube silo in a submarine looks like. And let's just say you do not want to be seeing this shooting out, because that's bad. I've got a deck gun here. Look here. Oh, look at that. It still raises. Here. Do you think you could back up so you could show this thing raising and lowering?
Yes.
So Jesse's going to take over now, I believe. I meant with my camera.
Oh.
Yeah, so Mr. Gillette is now taking over while I try and lower this thing into a firing position. Oh, fuck. Aha, my target is you, sir. No, I'm just kidding. But keep in mind, a guy my age would probably be sitting in this gunner's seat. So this gives you an idea of the kind of people who would be manning this thing back in World War II. Problem is, you'd have a scope of some kind, probably right here. I'm pretty sure a kid who's just come out of the freaking naval boot camp would probably be able to raise and lower this sucker in a very rapid pace, far quicker than what I was probably able to do. But yeah, I'm gonna get a picture of this and we'll move across the street over to the other conning tower, and there's a prop there too, I believe. So let's just continue, shall we? And don't worry, there's just a rock wall here. Oh yeah, they've got two propellers, an anchor, and another conning tower from U-598. I know that's probably the German pronunciation for the submarine, you know, U-boat, but that's what I'm going with because it's easy for me to remember. No offense to the guys on the current subs. I'll give them points on the garden. It's very pretty. It's real pretty. I like this. Yeah, they've got an anchor here. And then they've got two of the screws here, two of the props. Oh yeah, these are the Nautilus's propellers. And they're 5-bladed, I think? Yeah, 5-bladed propellers. So yeah, 1954 to 1980, that's, if it had have been in service 4 more years, that would have been what, 30 years?
I believe so.
54 to 64, 10 years. 74, 20. So it was almost, so 84 would have been 30 if it had have been able to be kept in service then.
No, 91 would be 30.
94.
Wow.
Well, yeah, 1954 to 84. That'd be 20, 30 years?
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be 30 years, 1984. 90 years, or excuse me, not 90 years. 94 would have been 40. Oh, they also have, I think, the tip of a missile. That's not good. Hopefully, let's hope it's not like one that I think either James May or somebody tried to light in Top Gear. So yeah, we'll See y'all later. Anyways, next stop, Gloucester. Psych, actually, it's New London and then Gloucester.